I'm back, guys. Just got out of the shower. Got off work, stopped by the grocery store. Got home, put stuff away, took a shower. Now we're gonna read a book that's in my computer. Greetings, one and all, to the most cursed, most cringiest corner of the internet. A YouTube channel content creator actively alienating everyone in both the analog and digital world. Well, welcome and good evening, you wonderful dice of all alignments. I am Lunar D8. Ever since then, there was an incredible change in that kid. Because of all the rituals. That's right. That child was quite faithful when it came to obeying rules, and flawlessly followed all of the rituals I taught. You mean by attaching strings to everything, and by doing that going home thing all the time? Yes, that kid would sometimes say it out loud. It was really cute, like watching someone play house with a bunch of tools. Just like a kid. But they were a kid, right? Ha ha ha. With adults, you can say something one way, and all of them will understand. However, there really are many different types of kids, and you need many different ways to teach them things. If you can find just the right way, they learn quite easily. Some kids learn better when they're punished, and some learn better when they're praised. I used to scare a neighborhood kid and tell him that a fairy would take his things if he didn't keep good track of them. This was the same, except the fairy became a witch. Still, doesn't that sound like fate? After all, you knew this kid was Beatrice's child, didn't you? Yes, I did know. It must have been strange. To tell Beatrice's child that the witch Beatrice would play pranks on you unless you put your stuff away neatly. When that child came and told me that a witch was stealing things and pulling at pranks, it made me think. I took it as a sign the late Beatrice-sama had become a witch and was coming to teach her child to keep track of things. That's why I thought this was the best way to teach that child. That kid started out with a bad reputation for forgetting and losing things, but got a lot more cheery after overcoming those bad habits. By surpassing weaknesses, those weaknesses become strengths. Isn't that the story of Naruto and the Shadow Clone Jutsu? And that is how people gain confidence and grow up. Those small spurts of growth made me feel as though this was my own grandchild. Thank you, Genji-sama. Good work with the big cleanup today. We never know when an important guest might come and borrow one of the rarely used rooms. It is important that you do not slack off in your cleaning. Of course, all of us are fully aware of this fact. I hope that is the case. When I looked around, I found this. Whose is it? Genji took a master keyring out of his pocket. Apparently someone had dropped their master key. All of the servants swung around to look at me. The usual offender. Come on, Yasu again? You shouldn't be so quick to judge. I have mine, of course. There's no way I'd drop something that important. And the rest of you? I have mine. Got it. So, it was you, Yasu. Do you still not get it, even after that scolding Madame gave you? You're just so... Normally, I would cower and apologize under their glares, whether I was guilty or not. However, I've changed, so I proudly held up the key with the string still attached. Oh, a device to keep yourself from dropping it. A commendable precaution. Genji-sama's face was as expressionless as ever. However, those were unmistakably words of praise. That's right. You won't drop them anymore. After all, you have your ritual now. That's right. I nodded proudly, a huge smile on my face. The proud experience of that day, of that moment, would be engraved into an unforgettable page in the memory of my young life. So, whose key did Genji find? There was only one servant who hadn't raised their key, as she muttered, "It has to be Yasu's key, not mine," and fished in her pocket. Her face went pale. You mustn't slack off even when doing your everyday tasks, but everyone makes mistakes from time to time. I will not press the point, but blaming your teammate instead of reflecting on your own actions is not something I would consider praiseworthy. But my apologies. It's fine, but next time don't be a bitch. The older servant turned red and hung her head. Behind her, though no one else could see it, was the witch. My friend will not make the same mistake again. After all, even though I've always got my eyes on this kid, I can never find a chance to try anything. But it's a shame if this girl here has lost her key. I should have tried pranking her long ago. Please don't prank people other than me. Huh? Did you say something? No, nothing. I tried not to feel vindictive, but after being called dull-witted for so long, I was finally able to hold my head up high on that day for the first time. I truly felt as though I'd gotten used to life as a servant of the Ushiromiya family. When people compliment you, it feels like they've acknowledged you. It's very important. People can't grow without it. And what happens when people grow? First, it becomes possible for them to find some leeway. Jobs that used to make them scared, that made them worry about whether they were doing things the right way or not, can then be carried out with confidence. That's right. Once things become easy, that gives you some latitude. And what happens next? It gives you a chance to enjoy your time more. As Genji might say it gives you time to relax your mind. If you're tense all the time, that just wears you out. It's good to take it easy for a bit if you can. Oh, that's probably why Yasuda starts reading the detective novels, and I remember Nanjo's a really big fan of those and has lots of the books. That's probably where Yasuda gets the books. Neat. It's good to take it easy for a bit if you can. You mean you learn so much that you can start slacking off on the job? It sounds bad when you put it that way. However, there's nothing wrong with cleverly carrying out your tasks quickly and using your free time to enjoy yourself. Times like that are what enriches a human's life. Come to think of it, Goda plays crosswords a lot between jobs. He also invents dishes with the leftover ingredients. Playing a bit and refreshing yourself can also be good for your efficiency. You might say that inventing dishes combines work and play. Even Genji slacks off when no one's looking. He'll watch TV or swipe some of his master's drink. And he reads complicated books. even Genji. In short, it's all about cleverly using the gaps between jobs to play. If it goes too far, it can turn to laziness. However, people only become mature when they learn to balance work with pleasure. Simply put, if all you care about is work all the time, you're not fully mature. So that kid learned how to play between jobs. It's hard to imagine that overly serious kid slacking off at work. It started with learning how to interact with people. That kid formed a relationship with Kumasawa, the person who was always kind, and started borrowing books from her and talking together about them. Even I had friends at school, but because of my work, there was no chance to deepen our friendship. Jessica was always kind and modest, but there was Natsui's stern order to think of, so we couldn't play together very much. So, at that time, Kumasawa, the one who was always as kind as a mother to me, was the person I felt closest to. Kumasawa was old enough to have grandchildren. They couldn't exactly run around and play together. Yu developed an interest in Kumasawa's hobby. And what's Kumasawa's hobby? Books. It might be hard to believe, but Kumasawa was a huge mystery novel fan, and Nanja's a big detective novel fan. So the kid wanted to find out what sorts of books they were and started reading them. That's right. The nice thing about mystery novels is that you can talk about them while you read them. Even Kumasawa, who already knew the answer, must have enjoyed listening in and hearing what sorts of theories a young intellect could create. Of course, I didn't start right away with the complicated books Kumasawa read.